Okay, we're rolling. Welcome lovers of odd time signatures, polyrhythms, polymeters, and all the other rhythm nerds out there. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is an Australian rock band that embodies the term progressive. From album to album, this group progresses to different genres, bringing along their unique approach and insane rhythmic talents. For more on the band, I'd recommend watching Introduction to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard by YouTuber Immolate. This video goes into their various albums up to Polygon Dwanaland, which was their fourth album of 2017, followed by Gumboot Soup. Before analyzing the song, I'd like to explain a little bit about me and why I made this channel. There will be a timestamp in the comments if you'd like to skip right into the analysis. So Crimson Rhythm is a passion project of mine that I've decided to create because although I don't have a set of drums, I'm a drummer at heart. Also because I think this information could go to better use than rambling to my friends about every single aspect I find with rhythm in a song. Anyways, listening to bands such as King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and King Crimson has opened my eyes to the world of complex time signatures and rhythms. Unfortunately, I am no wizard when it comes to melodies or anything of the sort. My forte is merely in time. If my knowledge on melodies does improve enough in the future, I may start analyzing those aspects of the songs as well, but as for now, I'm in no position to educate anyone on those. As for me as a musician, I mainly produce and play the guitar, albeit not greatly. Anyways, let's get right into Planet B. Eric and Michael begin the song with a classic head-banging thrash feel on the drums, hitting the snare on each quarter note while playing lightning-fast 16th notes underneath on the kick drum. The intro consists of 3 measures of 8/4 followed by a measure of 7/4 going into the guitars. So when the guitars come in, the song plays 2 measures of 15/4. These measures of 15/4 can be broken down into alternating 8/4 then 7/4. You get this pattern throughout the verses as well. So the snares are hitting on each quarter note with a drum fill at the last 3 beats of the 7/4 measures. The ride is hit on the and of 3 and 7 for the 8/4 measures, then on the and of 3 for the 7/4 measure. Anyways, let's get into the guitars for this section and then dive into the rest of the rhythms for the song. During this 15/4 section and throughout most of the song, the guitars play straight quarter notes and then a 6/8 measure for the last 3 beats of the 7/4 measure. So then the song goes into 3 measures of 4/4, which equals 12/4. Then it goes into 1 measure of 6/4, then 2 measures of 8/4, finally getting into the guitars leading up to the verse. The song goes into double time with 8/8, a classic thrash kick snare pattern with intense guitars over it. So when the verse begins, they go back into the classic quarter note feel of 8/4 followed by 7/4. It uses the earlier pattern of straight quarter notes on the snare and guitar, followed by a 6/8 fill and riff at the last 3 quarter notes of the 7/4 bars. So going into the urbanization section of the verse, you get 2 measures of 7/4 followed by a measure of 6/4 and then a final measure of 7/4. The guitars and drums in the 7/4 sections go 4/4 to 6/8, emphasizing the dotted quarter notes. Part of the reason this works so well is that the 4/4 followed by the dotted quarter note can 1 be seen as a push and pull or fast and slow. So the 6/8 section of the bar seems kind of like the bar slowing down, but then it really builds up into the next section rather than just moving into it casually. Another reason I believe this is a great way to use 7/4 is that although it's odd time, it manages to focus on groupings of 2. The 4/4 is self-explanatory with the kick snare 1-2 pattern, but then the dotted quarter note emphasis turns what is of course 6/8 notes into a 2-beat section that meshes with the 4/4 preceding it in the bar. The verse ends with a 7/4 measure on There Is No Planet B, followed by the 8/4 on Open Your Eyes and See. Then it goes right back into the 8/8 double time pattern. There's not much more to say about that rhythmically. Verse 2, this generally follows the same pattern as verse 1. There are a few small things added in there. There's an extra 4/4 measure thrown in between those two sections of the verse, that 4/4 measure being only way through is. The other rhythmic change occurs with the key change for monetization. Guitars begin to strum 8th notes rather than just quarter notes, the rest generally being the same. This verse ends the same as the first verse with the 7/4 measure of There Is No Planet B. Alright, so this instrumental section before the bridge, the toms play tight 8th notes, though overall emphasizing the 4 quarter notes per measure. The bridge as well remains in 4/4 and throughout the build up to the epic final chorus.
No Planet B.
This section is pretty epic, and it plays a more solid 7/4 where they emphasize 4/4 followed by 3/4, with using again those dotted quarter notes of a 6/8 measure at the end. It ends on the 4/4 measure, Open Your Eyes and See. So between the previous section and the final verse, you get 8 measures of 6/4. This final verse is a measure of 8/4 followed by 6/4, which equals 14/4, and then it is followed by 2 measures of 8/4, finishing off the song on the first beat of the next measure. And that is Planet B, Rhythmic Analysis.